What if discipline isn't built in the moments when you feel powerful, motivated, or inspired, but in the smallest choices you make when no one is watching and nothing feels urgent? Most people wait for discipline to arrive like a sudden force, a switch that flips, a mindset that appears overnight. But discipline doesn't come from grand decisions. It comes from quiet, almost invisible choices that repeat themselves day after day until they shape who you are. Every day you face hundreds of small decisions. You decide whether to get up when the alarm rings or press snooze. You decide whether to finish what you started or leave it half done. You decide whether to tell yourself just this once or hold the line. None of these moments feel important on their own. That is exactly why they matter so much. Discipline is not built by dramatic acts. It is built by the accumulation of tiny agreements you keep with yourself. The mistake most people make is thinking discipline is about intensity. They believe discipline means extreme routines, punishing schedules, or iron willpower. In reality, discipline is about consistency. And consistency is born from small choices that feel almost too easy to matter. When you choose to make your bed, even when you're in a hurry, you're not just straightening sheets. You're reinforcing the identity of someone who finishes small tasks. When you choose to walk for 10 minutes instead of scrolling for 10 minutes, you're not changing your life in one day. You're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Small choices shape your internal standards. Every time you follow through, even on something minor, your mind registers a message. I do what I say I will do. Every time you don't, it registers a different message. My word to myself is flexible. Over time, these messages compound. Discipline is simply the reputation you build with yourself. And reputations are not built in a single moment. They are built through patterns. Consider how people lose discipline. It rarely collapses all at once. It erodes quietly. One skipped workout becomes two. One excuse becomes a habit. One late night becomes a routine. None of these decisions feel dangerous when they happen. Each one feels justified, reasonable, temporary. But discipline is not destroyed by one big failure. It is weakened by repeated small compromises that slowly lower your standards. The same is true in the opposite direction. Discipline is strengthened when you protect small standards fiercely. When you decide that certain actions are non-negotiable, no matter how small they seem. Drinking water when you wake up, writing one paragraph, reviewing your plan for 5 minutes, stopping when you said you would stop. These actions don't look impressive from the outside, but they create internal structure. Structure creates predictability. Predictability creates trust, and trust creates discipline. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" and start asking, "What does the disciplined version of me do in this moment?" Feelings are unstable. They change hourly. Discipline is not about feeling ready. It is about acting in alignment with a chosen standard, regardless of mood. Small choices make this possible because they don't rely on motivation. They rely time. When a task feels overwhelming, discipline doesn't ask you to finish everything. It asks you to start something. 5 minutes of focused effort is not meaningless. It is a signal. It tells your brain that action happens even when motivation is low. Often, action creates motivation, not the other way around. But even if motivation never comes, the discipline remains intact because the agreement was honored. Another reason small choices matter is because they reduce friction. Big goals create resistance. Small habits remove it. You don't need discipline to climb a mountain every day. You need discipline to put your shoes by the door. You need discipline to prepare the environment so the right choice becomes the easy choice. Discipline is not just internal strength, it is intelligent design of your daily life. Look closely at your environment and you will see your discipline reflected back at you. A cluttered space encourages scattered thinking. A chaotic schedule encourages excuses. When you make small choices to organize, prepare, and simplify, you are not being neat. You are protecting your future discipline. You are reducing the number of decisions that can drain your willpower. Small choices also shape your self-respect. Self-respect is not built by telling yourself positive words. It is built by behaving in ways that are worthy of respect. When you do what you said you would do, even when it's inconvenient, your confidence grows quietly. Not loud confidence. Calm confidence. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that says, I can rely on myself. This is why discipline often feels boring. There is nothing exciting about consistency. There is no applause for repetition. But boring discipline beats exciting inconsistency every time. People who succeed long-term are not the ones who feel the most inspired. They are the ones who are most faithful to small, boring actions. If you want to build discipline, stop looking for dramatic transformations. Look for leverage points. Where can you make one small decision easier today? Where can you remove one excuse? Where can you raise one standard slightly and keep it there? Discipline grows when standards rise slowly and stay firm. There will be days when you fail. Discipline is not perfection. It is recovery speed. The disciplined person is not the one who never slips. It is the one who returns quickly, without self-destruction, without drama, without quitting. Small choices make recovery easier because you don't need to rebuild everything. You just need to return to the next small action. Over time, these small choices reshape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries, and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This identity changes the real reward of discipline. Results come later. Strength comes later. Freedom comes later. But identity changes first. So today, don't aim to be heroic. Aim to be consistent. Choose the small action that aligns with who you want to become and do it without negotiation. Then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. That is how discipline is built. Quietly, patiently, relentlessly. One small choice at a time.